Hi, and welcome to Mnemonic AI. So most people think today that AI can reason. It writes step by step. It explains, it answers. It looks like it's thinking. But Apple's own research team asked a simple question. What if this is only an illusion? In mid-2025, Apple published a paper with a strong title, The Illusion of Thinking. They did not test chatbots with math quizzes or coding tasks. Those tests are easy to gain because models may have seen similar problems during training. Instead, Apple built clean puzzle worlds with rules and clear goals. They use classic problems like Tower of Hanoi, river crossing, checker jumping, and blocks world. These puzzles can be made harder step by step. That matters because you can see how performance changing as the task becomes more complex. The team compared two kinds of models: standard language models that answers directly and large reasoning models that try to solve problems by writing out chains of thoughts before giving an answer. In simple terms, models that try to show their work. What they found out was not what many people expected. On easy problems, that standard models often did better. The reasoning models sometimes made more mistakes. They added steps were not needed and talked themselves into wrong answers. It was a case of overthinking. On medium problems, the reasoning models helped, breaking the task into steps, improved accuracy. This is where the idea of reasoning looked useful and real. But on hard problems, both types of models failed. Accuracy dropped fast. Even more strange, the reasoning models stopped trying. They did not use all the space they had to think through the problem. The effort went down even when they had room to keep going. So performance was best in the middle and weak at both ends. Easy tasks did not need any reasoning, hard tasks broke the system. The pattern is what Apple calls the illusion of thinking. The models can act like they're reasoning, but once problems require deep and generic logic, that behavior falls apart. The steps look logical, but they are not driven by stable rules or real plans. This matters because many people treat chain of thought as proof of understanding. But Apple's results suggest that these steps may be more like a story the model tells, not a process it truly follows. The paper does not say that reasoning models are useless. It says simulated reasoning is not the same as real problem solving. High scores on benchmarks can hide this gap. Models can learn patterns from training data and reuse them in new settings that look different but feel similar to the model. This connects to an old idea that AI called the ELIZA effect. When a machine sounds smart, people assume it understands. But sounding smart and understanding are not the same thing. The response from the AI community was mixed. Some research welcomed the paper as a needed reality check. They said it helps reset how we talk about AI ability and limits. Others pushes back. They argued that the tests may not reflect real use and that failures could be caused by limits like token budgets or setup choices, not by a lack of reasoning itself. Some even wrote a reply paper with a bold title, The Illusion of Thinking, saying Apple went too far on these claims. So where does it leave us? Think of it like watching someone solve a puzzle. If they apply clear rules and stick to them, you trust the process. But if they repeat steps that only look right, the results can seem smart without being reliable. This is what Apple suggests is happening here. The models can copy and shape of thinking without owning the logic behind it. For AI research, this points to big needs. First, better tests and measures real reasoning instead of pattern recall. Second, new system designs that go beyond language models alone and combine learning with planning, logic, and grounded understanding. The bottom line is simple. Apple is not saying AI is useless or fake. They are saying we should not confuse smooth explanations with real thinking.